Hello, 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 hello. 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 Bangs it over in the corner. Hello. So, I got a couple things that I need to come up in here and talk about with you boys and girls in the Blacklist group. I got myself drug in this group and brought underneath some pretty interesting examination here recently, and I had no clue there was a problem. Apparently Tim Servley out there, who I've been in contact with quite a bit in the last 2 weeks, has created a bunch of problems. And we're going to solve all of them here live on camera tonight. Everybody else has gotten their little say, and I have not said anything. Because I personally believe this is between me and Tim, but since he's decided to go public with it, and come out here and talk, and doesn't want to answer my phone calls, I figured I'd answer his questions here in the little Blacklist group. I've read all kinds of comments about how I'm scared, ripping people off, not willing to be out and come answer questions. Well, we're going to answer all the questions. We're going to do it live. We're going to do it right here in front of everybody. So about 2 weeks ago, all of a sudden I get a payment request from Tim. Now, Tim knows his time's coming up. And what I mean by time, that there is about a year-long waiting list from when you purchase an amplifier until I'm able to deliver it. Now, at the beginning of this year, I made a policy that I was not accepting any new build projects, because I got like 18 months worth of build projects that I currently have in-house that I have to work on, and I know I'm grossly behind. So at the beginning of the year, I stopped taking orders almost 5 months ago. And I have been slowly working my way through the new build list for my customers. Not any of your all's customers, for my customers. And Tim has been in contact with me. Now, Tim initially ordered, at least what I have written down, because it's not very clear what Tim has actually ordered. And Tim can't even answer it going off of what he said last night in the Rajesh, or whatever his name's, little radio show that's got like 5 viewers or whatever it is. I don't know. None of my business. Don't watch. Don't participate. It's very unclear about what he actually thinks he ordered. Well, Tim, when you initially called in, you ordered a 1-pill LD Moss mobile box. Tim initially gave me a payment of $260, and I told him at that time, I'm not going to consider this thing anything until you've actually paid for the whole box. So then we fast forward, now he's making little payments here and there, and he's being diligent about it. I don't like being people's bank. And what I mean by that is I feel it's up to you, the customer, to get your money square before you call me, and I don't want to store anybody's money. That's not the business that I'm in. I'm in the business of building amplifiers, and I'm also not in the business of dealing with this horse shit, the Facebook thing. If I'm not over here pushing a soldering iron, that means some customer is now getting lacked and getting ripped off of their time that they've bought. So for me to take my time and come in here and talk to you guys this evening, value it. So Tim calls me after he gets the first portion of his build built, and he's all excited. He says, well, we're about where we need to be. I'm like, cool. Well, we're looking about 6, 7 months, maybe 8 months, depending on what the winter's like, blah, blah, blah. He goes, well, I want to upgrade it. Okay. He wanted to go to a 2-pill mobile LD Moss box. I said, all right, it's not a problem. So he starts making payments on that. Well, we're going to go in the time machine now, and we're going to back up to, the 14th, 13th of this month. He still hasn't paid me in full. He's short by $130. He sends me a money request for $2,500 on PayPal, which I see, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm not doing anything till I talk to my customer, which is only legitimate. Well, I'm on a road trip. I'm off delivering a 3000 down to Utah at the time, and I'm not going to deal with it while I'm driving because I got no notes. I got nothing. I write everything down. Everything's documented. And that's when my radar went off. Do. Oh, there's a problem. So I get home and I call Tim and I get no answer. And I call him again, no answer. Call him again, no answer. So I finally shoot him texts on Facebook and I shoot him texts on his phone and I still don't get an answer. Apparently he was sleeping. Meanwhile, I've got other people that are calling and telling me that he's out there talking all kinds of mad trash and getting ready to start crap. So now I get on the phone with Tim, and from this point forward, everything I do with him is overly documented. Overly documented. I have recordings, I have screenshots, I have call logs to help me circumnavigate this little problem we're having here. I want to play you the recording from the next day. After Tim and I had come to an agreement. Now this is on the 15th of this month. Tim and I had come to an agreement that he still wanted the amplifier. And he was, well, wanting to pay me more money. He proceeds to tell me that he needs to pay me $300 more. And I'm like, Tim, your math is way off, buddy. And I do not and did not want to accept any more money from him. And do not. But he proceeds to go on and tell me that he is sorry and that we've reached an agreement between the two of us and that he's looking forward to the box. And I told him at that time that his time is actually currently now. And that I will be building the box towards the end of this month to the beginning of next. Now I've provided PayPal history to the Blacklist group. I provided phone call logs to the Blacklist group to back this up. And now I'm going to back it up with an audio recording of Tim himself.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. My point is, that's not what I meant to do. I'm just asking for no idea, to be honest with you. But do you remember, just to give you a little background, why I got a little bit nervous. It's been, a little bit went past the time. Do you remember Kevin Lovianco, my transaction with him? You remember that name?
No, I don't.
The last time that I got strung out past due for something to be sent, I got screwed really bad.
Please note the date and time on the recording.
Anything that caused, I'm sorry. I will get back on the phone with my Visa company and tell them that that's not a claim and we need to resolve that.
Okay, I appreciate that.
I will see today when we get off the phone if I can't resolve it.
I'd greatly appreciate that.
Yeah, I know on your end it looks like I'm being malicious, but I'm telling you, man, I'm just a I'm a truck driver. I had no idea. I just asked for a refund. I did not file a claim. My Visa company may have done it on their own, but I didn't do it. And I just want you to understand that that's not anything that I meant to do.
Well,
we did have an agreement. We still have an agreement. And I did try to pay you $300 after we got off the phone the other day, and that was declined. So I guess it is on my Visa.
Well, I think what we're going to do is get this resolved, and we're just going to endeavor forward, and we're going to leave it at that, and I'm not going to say anything more about it other than let's just try and get this resolved and move forward. All right?
Well, I'm going to make a call right now.
I appreciate that, Tim. I thank you, and you have a good afternoon. Please call me back and let me know what you figure out.
I will. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
So we go forward not even a week, and this thing starts unfolding in this little group and in the NRO and a couple other places, and I start hearing grumblings about it. Now this entire time I still haven't heard from Tim. I have not. He has not yet even contacted me directly to this date, as of right now. The only thing that has taken place is there's been a ton of speculation on Facebook and a lot of people involved that aren't involved in the business deal, which would be between me and Tim. Now, as a company policy, we're going to talk about returns. Now, as a company policy, I do not issue refunds. And let me explain to you why. Because as soon as you come to me and ask me to build you an amplifier, I immediately go out and purchase all of the parts for your build. All of them. And in this particular case, I had to wait multiple months to where there was enough funds available for me to purchase Tim's components, which immediately I did. So I'm sitting on $2,300 worth of parts for his $2,500 box, $2,600 box. I can't eat those costs. And it's not up to me to be held responsible if the guy wants to go and say, I don't want to buy, I don't want to have the amplifier, give me back my money. That's not how any of this works, and that's not how it's ever going to work with me. It's very clearly stated on my webpage, www.bbiamps.com, underneath Services, Prices, and Privacy Rules and Returns, very clearly stipulated. And I make it very clear to each customer when they call me in and they decide that they want me to build them something. Now, I haven't had to say it in a long time because, well, I haven't been taking orders since the beginning of the year. Because I'm trying to take care of all the customers I've already got. Gentlemen, Tim has flat out played all of you. And I've proved it 3 ways from Sunday. Now, because I could see this coming on a radar, I stayed up till 4 o'clock this morning. And I finished Tim's box, which was already in build, which is sitting right here. Now, Tim, I got to tell you, buddy, this is the closest you're ever going to get to it. What I do for a return is I build the amplifier, then I sell it, then the proceeds from that sale, then I turn around and refund the customer back with zero financial gain of my own. Zero. Period. I've done this over and over. I've done it about 4 or 5 times. That's the way this works. It's very clearly stated on my webpage. It's public knowledge. I'm being incredibly transparent about it. Now, this is what's going to happen. I've already got a buyer for this. I've already got a buyer for this amplifier. So, the buyer happens to be sitting in the room with me. In a few minutes, we're going to complete the deal, and I'm going to show him the amplifier working. We're going to talk about it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the money around, and here within a day or two, I'm going to go refund Tim back his money, sticking with company policy, and this issue is going to be closed. Now, the reason that I didn't issue a refund, period, is because Tim has never come and asked me for one until it showed up on Facebook. That's a fact. And I can prove it, and have already. You guys have a good night. But this issue is closed, and Tim will receive his money here in the next day or so. You guys have a good evening. I appreciate you all. Appreciate you all listening to me. Now, I got to go. I got a 48 pill I got to go work on. Good night.